is going to talk about our first project, defining technical writing. So let's take a look. So you're always going to find your project information under modules. When you go to the modules page, you can look at project overviews and instructions. And it's really important that you are looking both at the overview and at the project instructions. So you can open both of those files up. So the project overview is going to give you a much more detailed set of information about each project. For project 1, we'll be defining technical writing, and the module is meant to introduce you to the project, give an overview, and provide hints and tips for completing it successfully. You do not have to complete all of the overview the first time you read it, and it's really important that you come back to this overview again and again to check over what you need to do. It'll talk about the different deliverables, and then it'll go through each of those deliverables to help you kind of do your best on the project. It also will include videos, lectures, and other information that you need in order to do the project successfully. So again, the overview is really something that serves as kind of another textbook for the course, so that you can come back and visit the resources for the project each time. But let's take a look at what you're being asked to do for project 1. So each of our project instruction sheets are going to have 3 parts. They'll give you a project overview, including the deliverables required. It'll give you a set of instructions, and then it'll give you specific definitions and descriptions about the deliverables required for the project. Everything we do for this course is project-based. So instead of one single large paper at the end that you just kind of write, each of the smaller pieces all go together in order to build the project. So this project is going to introduce you to basic business correspondence and help you transition from academic writing to technical writing. You're going to need your textbook, Document-Based Cases for Technical Communication. You are not going to be able to do this project without that textbook. So if you haven't purchased it yet, you really need to purchase it. And if you're not planning on purchasing it, then I'm not sure. Contact me or consider switching classes. So this project's going to ask you to analyze definitions, evaluate and revise definitions, identify where graphics could work, and then you're going to be creating your own definition and an infographic that you're going to prepare as a portfolio and give a justification for your work. So this is going to happen a lot this semester, where you are asked to do audience analysis worksheets, where you really think about who is going to be using or viewing these deliverables. And then oftentimes at the end of a project, you'll be asked to submit something as a portfolio or a justification, where you are literally explaining not only what you did, but why you did it and why it's appropriate for that specific audience. So this particular project includes 2 audience analyses. You're going to do an audience analysis of the case that's in your textbook, and you'll also do an audience analysis of the infographic, because there's 2 different audiences you'll be addressing in your deliverables. For the first part of the project, you'll be working directly out of the textbook. You'll be doing tasks 1, task 2, and task 3 pretty much as the textbook explains them. And then for the second half of the project, you'll be kind of going away from the textbook to create your own infographic. And that infographic is going to be defining technical writing. So let's take a look at the instructions. For this project, you're going to use case 2 out of our textbook. You'll need to read over the situation carefully. Each of the cases comes with a 1 to 2 page description of a fictional scenario or case. You're going to use your understanding of that scenario, your knowledge about that scenario, in order to do the rest of the work. You'll complete an audience analysis for the case, and then you're going to complete tasks 1 through 4 described in the textbook. You're going to submit each task as a separate assignment on the due dates listed. It's really important that you are not submitting them all at once. Each of the tasks build, and you'll get feedback from me about each of the tasks so that you can make adjustments to your writing, so that you can increase your understanding, and so that you can be more and more and more successful. If you're turning them in all at once, they're going to be late and have a point deduction, but you're also not going to get the really helpful information you need from me in order to do better. It's important that you're checking for feedback after each of your submissions. You should be able to apply that feedback to future work so that you can correct any mistakes or just kind of deepen your knowledge. So once you go through tasks 1 to 4, you'll then create an extended definition of technical writing and present it as an infographic for an audience of students in your major or career. That means you need another audience analysis. This audience of students in your major, career, and field, it's different than the tasks. The tasks involve a gardening blog. Your task is going to involve students in your major field. So you'll complete an audience analysis. You'll find appropriate sources to support your definition. And then you're going to use a graphic design program like Canva to create the illustration or infographic using at least 3 extensions. Then you'll write a persuasive memo about the choices you made in your infographic. You're going to talk about how you met your audience's needs in the content and design, and you'll explain how your infographic is a good example of an extended definition. So tasks 1 to 3 are pretty clear in the textbook. Task 1 is an email that identifies effective definitions and revises ineffective definitions. In the textbook, you're provided with a series of definitions, and you need to analyze them based on the fictional blog's intended audience. You'll write an email that includes your definitions from both 2.3 and 2.4. And it's very important that you compose the email so it's clear which definitions you're referring to. This is going to be your first attempt practicing putting format together with content. How can you format your work so that it's clear and accessible to your reader? Task 2 is going to be responding to the first task. You'll select one of the posts and identify 3 improvements, and you'll relate those proposed improvements again to the specific audience and purpose of the blog. So we're really focusing in this first project on understanding audience as the first step in any sort of writing in the technical fields. Task 3, again, it builds off of what comes before. You're going to use the same blog post that you selected for task 2. Then you're going to evaluate the graphics, propose changes, and revise the blog post into a 1-page color handout suitable for printing. You're going to include that handout as an attachment to the email that you write. So you'll be looking at evaluating definitions, you'll be evaluating a blog post, and then you'll be revising them. And that's all part of the fictional scenario. Once you're done with that, you should have a clear understanding of what it means to write a technical definition, including an extended definition. That information is all in your textbook. Once you've practiced other types of definitions, you're going to write your own. So you'll be doing some research to figure out what the definition of technical writing is. What types of documents are considered tech writing? What types of documents might you be required to produce in your own career? And from that research, you're going to create an extended definition infographic. You will use at least 3 of the extenders listed in your textbook. So again, go back to your perusal textbook because that lists the specific extensions that you can use for this assignment. You'll be presenting your definition as an infographic that will be distributed to other students in your major or career field. So again, paying attention to your own audience, what their needs are, expectations, and beliefs are, and how you can meet those appropriately. And this is, to be clear, a graphic. You'll present it as a PDF. If you go to a website like canva.com, there's a ton of templates that you can use, or you can design your own for infographics. When you go to the overview for the project, all of this information is provided in more detail. So there's information about writing definitions that you can look over. There's information about doing audience analyses, how to research your definition. It gives you information about infographic design and writing, including some basic design principles and how to write the justification memo. If you have any questions about Project 1, please make sure that you reach out sooner rather than later. Remember, we're in an accelerated course, so things do move kind of quickly. And if I can help in any way, feel free to stop by office hours or request an appointment.